Hello everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Monitoring and Evaluation Circle. My name is NelsonJF, and as always, it's a pleasure to connect with you, share ideas, and grow together in the field of monitoring and evaluation. In this episode, we are going to focus on a concept that is fundamental to project success but often misunderstood or underestimated: monitoring. Monitoring is sometimes seen as a routine reporting task, something that happens in the background of a project. In reality, effective monitoring is a powerful management and learning tool that helps teams stay on track, make informed decisions, and adapt along the way. So, in today's episode of the Monitoring and Evaluation Circle, we will explore what monitoring really is, how monitoring differs from evaluation, and most importantly, why monitoring plays a critical role throughout the life of a project. Let's start with the basics. Monitoring is the continuous and systematic process of collecting, analyzing, and using information to track a project progress over time. It focuses on what is being implemented, how activities are unfolding, and whether outputs are being delivered as planned. In simple terms, monitoring helps answer the following questions. Are we doing what we said we would do? Are activities happening on time? Are we reaching the intended participants? And are resources being used as planned? Monitoring is ongoing. It starts at the beginning of a project and continues throughout implementation. Now, let's take a moment to look at the difference between monitoring and evaluation. While there are many distinctions between the two, in this episode, I would like to highlight three key differences. First, monitoring is a continuous process carried out throughout the life of a project. Evaluation, meanwhile, is conducted at specific points in time. Second, monitoring focuses on implementation, while evaluation looks at results, outcomes, and impact. And finally, monitoring is primarily concerned with tracking activities, outputs, and short-term progress, while evaluation asks deeper questions about effectiveness, relevance, and sustainability. It's very important to remember that monitoring and evaluation work hand in hand. When monitoring systems are strong, evaluations become much more meaningful. So, without reliable monitoring data, evaluations are harder to carry out and their findings are less convincing. Now, let's talk about why monitoring is important. Well, monitoring matters for several key reasons. First, we need to understand that monitoring is important because it supports better decision making. When project teams regularly review monitoring data, they can identify challenges early, adjust strategies, and improve implementation in real time. The second reason why monitoring is important is because it improves accountability. It allows organizations to demonstrate progress to funders, partners, and communities, showing how resources are being used and what is being delivered. Also, monitoring is important because it promotes learning and adaptation. Progress rarely unfolds exactly as planned. So, monitoring provides the information needed to learn from experience and adapt to changing context. Finally, the reason why monitoring is important is because monitoring lays the foundation for effective evaluation. Good monitoring systems generate the data that evaluators later use to assess outcomes and impact. Now, let's talk about what makes a good monitoring system. First, an effective monitoring system is simple and practical. It should support decision making, not overwhelm teams with unnecessary complexity. Second, it must be aligned with project objectives and indicators, ensuring that what is being monitored truly reflects what the project aims to achieve. Third, a strong monitoring system is integrated into day-to-day project management, so it becomes part of routine work rather than an additional burden. Finally, monitoring data must be actively used, not just collected for reporting purposes. Data only adds value when it informs learning, adaptation, and action. Monitoring should serve the project team first, not just external reporting requirements. To wrap up, monitoring is much more than tracking numbers or filling out reports. When done well, it becomes a strategic tool that supports learning, accountability, and better project outcomes. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Monitoring and Evaluation Circle. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep improving your monitoring and evaluation practice. My name is Nelson Jean-François, and welcome to the Circle.